this fair land.
Guess who's back, baby? Feels good to be back out here, guys. You have no idea how much restraint I had to exercise in order to just relax, or try to relax, in my motel room and wait to be healed up. My knee is a little sore, but I brought a little compression brace with me and I put it on, and my feet actually feel okay once they got warmed up. The sides of my calves are a little sore, and even up in my thighs there's a little bit of soreness, but all in all I would say I feel like a million times better than when I limped off of Dix Creek Gap about 2.5, well technically 3 days ago. And now that I'm out here, like I said, just so pumped. So I think today, in the spirit of kind of embracing the ideology of just taking it easier, I'm hiking a little bit slower, and I've got my eye on a place called Bly Gap, which is where the borderline between Georgia and North Carolina is. So it's about a 9-mile hike. So I think that's what I'm gonna go for today, unless something crazy happens, which I don't think anything crazy is gonna happen. So again, I'm just gonna take my sweet time, meander on up about 9 miles, eat into about a quarter of this hike that I got ahead of me to get to Franklin, and just enjoy the fact that I'm back out here and I'm feeling pretty good.
There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run.
Check it out, guys. So I was hiking along the trail and I found a nice big log to perch up on with my little sitting pad here. Got my new camp shoes on. I sort of let the feet breathe for a little bit. And then here we have the masterpiece. This is a tortilla with peanut butter and coconut oil and then some trail mix. So that's a nice little calorie loaded lunch. I'm gonna wolf this thing down and then keep moving. But the important thing is I'm giving my feet a chance to breathe and to re-energize with a good solid meal. And again, taking things a little more leisurely, and I think it's already showing its benefits. Who wouldn't want to eat that, right? Anyway, I'm gonna wolf it down and then keep going.
Slow down, everyone, you're moving too fast.
Morning, guys. It's about 9:45 right now, and I am down by a little stream here. Let's put a nice little pipe in so we can fill up our water without trouble. See, last night was a pretty beautiful sunset. It was a chilly night though, and it was actually the first night where I woke up and my water filter was so cold that it had frozen, and I wasn't able to get any water through it. So I thawed it out, and now I'm down here. Yesterday it was a big landmark day because we made it out of Georgia. So the border between North Carolina and Georgia is probably about 100 feet back from me on the trail. So we made it to state number 2, which is pretty sweet. I would say my feet hurt pretty bad right now, but I did what I could to roll my arches out with the tennis ball this morning and to take some painkiller, just ibuprofen medication. And I feel decent, but I have a couple, let's see what else I got going on. I got some blisters on my pinky toes, so I taped those up this morning. Hopefully that'll keep those at bay. We're gonna put in about 12 miles today so that we make it over the big mountain we're gonna be climbing today. It's up at about 5,000 feet, so it'll be the highest one yet. So yeah, I'm gonna get this water topped off and then get to moving. So I'll probably check in with you guys later today once I'm up there. Alright. Hey guys, so it's really only been like maybe 20 minutes since I did my last little check-in. But man, there was a hill going out of camp this morning that was just brutal. I'll definitely wake you up in a hurry. So I mentioned earlier that I was in some pain in my legs and feet still, and you know, the fact of the matter is, when you're out here, you know, carrying 30 pounds, 35 pounds on your back, whatever your pack weighs, and you're doing, you know, 10 miles a day or so on average, it just takes your body time to get used to. And you know, definitely the equipment that you have can affect the curb, so to speak, of how much pain you have to go through and how long it takes. And you know, I was thinking about it and realizing that my Ultra Lone Peaks, the shoes that I'm wearing, they have a zero drop design in them, which means that your heel is dropped lower in the shoe. And you know, the way our shoes are designed for the most part nowadays, your heel is elevated. So you know, for 25 years plus, I've been walking around in those types of shoes, and then I switched to these Ultras. And you know, the unfortunate fact of the matter is, even though I did attempt to do a through hike on the Trans-Catalina Trail in these shoes, or I should just say a hike, you know, it's 40 plus miles, so it's a good hike, and Catalina is challenging terrain. But the point is, I tried to bring them out to Catalina and do the hike in these shoes after I'd done them in boots previously, and the trails got closed down on me. So I really didn't have much hiking that I did in these shoes. I did wear them around in the day-to-day, going out and about, and I did notice that the backs of my calves got significantly tighter because they had to get used to, you know, being lower to the ground and being stretched out, and that ligament had some getting used to the shoe to go through. And essentially what I've realized is, you know, I've had tightness in the front, like beneath my shin bone, and on the sides of my calves as well, on the outsides especially. And what I realized is, even though the backs of my calves had gotten used to these shoes, I hadn't gone up and down significantly on the terrain. And I think what happened was, it was sort of like a delayed but very similar version of what happened with the backs of my calves. And so, you know, I have a tennis ball in my pack now, and I've been using it to sort of roll out these muscles at the end of the day and even in the morning when I wake up. And even though I'm in pain, I'm kind of encouraged by this idea that, you know, the rest of my legs and my feet are going through an acclimation process. Now again, the Mecca, the shoe expert in Franklin, might disagree, but I sort of had this epiphany about my muscle tightness last night, and so I thought I'd share that with you guys, just because when you're going through pain and you're not necessarily sure why, you know, you're concerned with what your body's reaction to what you're putting it through is and whether or not it's sustainable. And I'm kind of hanging on to the thought that this is something that I'll get through after a couple hundred miles of my body having to get used to it. So anyway, one hill at a time, one step at a time, get my muscles used to it, get over the top, and keep trucking. By the way, statistically, I think it's something like 30 to 40% of people who started from where I did at Springer to this point in North Carolina, crossing the border, have dropped out. So, you know, it's not like something that makes me happy. Not whatsoever, you know what I mean? It's sad, but what you're starting to see is more familiar faces, you know, less people that you're coming across on the trail who, you know, are just taking up more trail space and more camp space and more shelter space. So the crowd is kind of slowly starting to thin out. All right, I'm gonna put my camera away and get hiking.
There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. But time has no beginnings and the history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall. Built the mines, the mills, and the factories for the good of us all.
Hey guys, so my stoke level is pretty high right now. I just summited Standing Indian Mountain. Happened to run into a father and daughter combo and they generously snapped a few photos of me. So I got my content for the gram, which is always a bonus. But furthermore, that surpasses the highest mountain that I've summited to date by 1,000 feet. So Blood Mountain was formerly the highest at about 4,400, and Standing Indian puts it to shame at 5,400. And the view from up there is just spectacular. I mean, you know, I can see why they call them the Blue Ridge Mountains, even if I'm not technically in Virginia where the Blue Ridge Mountains start. You look out and I mean, it's just incredible the view that you get. You know, it looks fake when you're looking that far off in the distance, you know, hundreds of peaks. So it's that kind of view, you know. So anyhow, I've got 9 miles behind me. If I stop at Beach Gap today, which is a campground that I'm coming up on, it's about 1,000 vertical feet to get down and about 3 miles out. I know there's gonna be a big group of people there, which, you know, I camped with them last night and they're all really nice people, but you know, I don't know if the group dynamic is necessarily my thing just yet. But I did have a nice time chatting with everybody and getting to know some people, debating politics. Maybe I should keep a lid on when it comes to that, but you know how it is. Anyway, it's all downhill from here, although, you know, it's kind of a ironic saying because when you say it's all downhill from here, it sounds bad. But then as a hiker, you're going with gravity. But then when you're going with gravity, it's tough on your joints and on your feet. I'm actually starting to think I might be crazy in that I actually like going uphill more than I like going downhill. I don't know. It's easier to go downhill, but it's kind of harder on your legs. Anyway, the fact that I've got nothing but a downhill left is, it kind of feels like a luxury, so I guess it must be a good thing. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So yeah, it'll be a 12-mile day if I stop at Beach Gap. I probably should because I keep reiterating about the lessons I've been having to learn, not going too hard. So we'll see what I ultimately decide on. And sorry I didn't take a video of the summit view. I was kind of like caught up in interacting with the father-daughter combo there. But I'll probably get a good view on the way down, so I'll take some video of that. All right, guys, I'll check back in with you later.
And when the young man's fancy had turned into the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. And their minds were overflowing with the visions of their day, with many a fortune won and lost and many a debt to pay. For they looked in the future and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up from the seaboards and into their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand. Bring the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open their heart, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, 'cause we're moving too slow.
Hey guys, so it's the end of day 10, 7:30 p.m., so it should be getting dark pretty soon. I think I got into camp maybe 2 hours ago, maybe a little bit longer, not entirely sure, but I got to work pretty quickly. This is my own campground tonight. It's at a place called Coleman Gap. So I got my tent set up over there, sort of in a decently nice flat spot. Already whipped up some spaghetti and put that down, and then got a nice little cozy fire going. So things are pretty good. Probably gonna hang here by the fire a little bit, let my phone charge up, and then I'll probably spend a little bit of tonight on my phone typing up some of the note journal entries that I've neglected for the past few days, just to sort of catch up so that when I'm done with all this, I got something to look back on someday. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this fire. I hung my bear bag back towards the trail actually, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be very easy to get it down in the morning based on the way that I hung it. It's like caught up on some rhododendron underbrush because I couldn't find any branches that were like clear of all the rhododendrons around here, which, as you can see, there's a lot of those types of like shrub trees. So anyway, I guess that's a problem I'll have to deal with in the morning. But for now, everything's good. So I'm gonna get some R&R time here, get some sleep, and then I'll check back in again in the morning on day 11. We'll be 2 days from town, starting tomorrow, being Franklin, North Carolina. But all in all, first day of hiking in North Carolina, pretty killer. Ended up doing about 13 miles today, so a little past what I should be doing ideally, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna be able to make it into town just fine.